Hello, hello. It's Amy from Seriously Sweet and Cookie Snack Attack, and we have a super special guest with all of us tonight, rather. Samantha Baughman is here with us. She goes by Sam for those of you who know her. I want you to take a quick look at the screenshot that's up right now. We're going to be doing that beautiful cookie tonight. And I'm so excited about this because I got to take one of Sam's classes at CookieCon, and I loved how she created all the different texture on the pumpkin that we did at this most recent CookieCon. And I'm loving this because it's a really big piece and she's going to show you all different kinds of stuff you can put inside there. So guys, we were at Orlando together. So for tonight, I've worn my Mickey Mouse or Minnie Mouse ears that Jen sent me. Sam, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing really well, really well. I love this piece. I was so excited because it's different than anything anybody else has turned in that they're going to show. And I love stuff like this because immediately my brain started popping like, hey, popcorn. Look, guys, can you see what I have my popcorn in tonight? So I'm ready because I'm going to watch this entire tutorial while Sam is doing it.
Well, and I actually have a surprise one that I did not send you a picture of that I was going to show as an alternative, but we'll get to that one in just a little bit because I'm a spooky loving Halloween girl, but I also needed to do something pretty for some other stuff I've going on. So I'm going to show you the spooky and the sweet.
I love it. I love it. Well, there's nothing wrong with the spook and the sweet, right?
Right, exactly. You have to have both. I mean, I prefer to do all the spooky, but that's okay. We're going to do the sweet tonight. It's okay.
Well, listen, just in case it gets really busy and people start firing questions, because sometimes it's rapid fire.
Right.
Know that we are all super excited that you were here. Like when I asked the Cookie Snack Attackers after CookieCon, like what kind of stuff would you like to see? A bunch of us took your elective at CookieCon and they were like, oh, see if you can get Samantha. And I was like, oh, I'll see you. And then they wanted Sue for stained glass. Like they had lots of suggestions.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you jumping on and
I'm happy to
joining in on the team. And anytime you have something new that you want to bring into the group, you just message me, okay?
Oh, that makes me excited.
Well, let's say hello to just a few more people.
Yeah.
So I edited the video again today, guys, because I wanted to give more attention to the instructors. And I realized I was so tired when I put it together the first 5 times. And that is what it is, by the way, that I needed to go back and fix that. So it's a little bit longer. It's like 30 seconds longer, but I think it's better. And you can see everyone's names and their pieces better. And also I realized last night, if we're going to use this all the way to Halloween, that I needed to adjust where everybody's names were so that we could get through some of the comments in the countdown. So anyway, there's that. We fixed it up. I hope you guys like everything. Sam, you have people watching from all over tonight. Thank you.
That makes me really excited. I see some familiar names too. There were a couple people who I saw comment. One of them's local and one of them took my class at CookieCon. I'm like, hi, that makes me really happy.
Nice. Now, I think you probably know a lot of these ladies. If not by name, you'd know them on sight.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm terrible at names, just so y'all know. But if you show me your cookie work, I'm like, oh, of course. I know who you are.
I know who that is. Hey, Southern Cal is in the house. It's good to see you. Now, listen, guys, if you could take just a minute. I know it's a Wednesday night. It is Wednesday, right, Sam?
Yes.
I know it's Wednesday. But if you could take just a second and grab the stream on either the device you're on or on another device and share it into whatever cookie groups you can where we don't violate any rules. Let's get Sam a little bit more exposure tonight because this piece is special. When you see it, it's like a table centerpiece type piece or like a family oriented piece that I could see going either way, like spooky or neat and fall like this. And I think you guys are going to really like it. Hey, sweet Sally. Thank you guys so much. All right. So if you're in good shape, I know, I don't want to forget, I have a little checklist. 2 things. Tomorrow night is Jen Mosier and her event is already posted. She's going to be doing some hand painting on a cookie that is piped. It's already piped in segments similar to what she did at her elective class, although I don't know if she's using cocoa butter or not. So that's tomorrow night. And it's a really cute, like little friendly witch. The cookie is so darling. I just saw it today. Tammy Kaladi from 2T Stencils is definitely going to be with us on Friday. And I believe she said, I don't want to misquote her, and I've had a lot of info flowing through here the past few days, but we're doing some airbrushing and maybe some royal icing transfers. I think she had a couple things going on. And then Sydney's definitely doing that really cool Gothic bathtub on Saturday. And Sydney has discounted the accessory kit from Simi Cakes.
Yeah.
She'll be Saturday, and you have time to get that kit if you're on the East Coast. So get that order in, okay? Hey, we have a few more people joining us. Thank you, Canada, for showing up for us tonight. I appreciate you. Hey, and we got Australia in the house. Hello, hello. Welcome to your future. Thank you. Is it a good day? Tell us Thursday's a good day. I love you guys. You're so sweet. Jenny's here. Jessie Ann is here. You're so funny, Carrie. I just love it when you pop on. And we know you're going to be in the new year before us, so we'll have to add a little something extra for you on that night. All right, so that takes us through Saturday, but I cannot stop there. I have to tell you about Sunday, and then the rest of the schedule we'll do as we go. But Sunday is Terry Lewis from Tweets. So she's going to be doing something that is quite beautiful, of course, using the Tweets pens. So we want to make sure we show up for all the artists. Everybody donated all of their time for free, and they're just wanting to roll forward in the cookie community and keep everything going and alive and healthy and positive and just kind of share the joy, right?
That's actually, I did want to comment that this, like you in particular, your positivity and the joy that you bring to the cookie community, it just makes me so happy, which is one of the reasons that I was so excited to do this, because I was like, I've seen the community that you foster, and I've seen the community at CookieCon, and Cookie World is my happy world. I was like, anything I can do to benefit the cookie community as a whole, it just makes me really excited.
Well, that's very sweet. And I mean it. Anytime you want to come back, anytime you want to show something new you're working on, if you have a class you want to talk about, you can come back.
Thank you.
But you should go ahead, while I'm showing these last few comments, if you could go ahead and tell everybody where they can follow you.
Yeah, absolutely. So my only social media platforms, I use Instagram and I use Facebook. And Facebook is mostly for my local groups, because I do offer mostly local classes, custom orders, those things. On Instagram is where I share some more of my videos, some tutorials from time to time. It's a lot more interactive with me, getting to know me as a person, because a lot of you guys on Instagram are not local. So when you see me, it'll be at an event like CookieCon or a show or something like that. And we don't get to foster the same community that I have on my Facebook page. So it's really nice, because Instagram is where I do a lot more stories. I comment on a lot more, I get to see other people's things. We get to just foster a whole different type of relationship there. And I really enjoy the visual side, because obviously we're all designers, artists, creative types. So Instagram, it's Sammy B Sweet, same thing on Facebook, either way. But honestly, I just love to talk to people ever. So send me a DM, like chit chat. I just love to meet new people, and I'm happy to talk cookie to anyone. Oh, almost forgot. We didn't even talk about this, Amy. I run, if you're on Reddit, I run the cookie decorating subreddit. I'm the mod that is over all that. And we have like 10,000 people that are on the cookie decorating subreddit, but it kind of runs itself because everybody's so nice. So it's very cool, but we're having a 13-day countdown contest for decorated cookies, and the Cheerful Baker is giving a prize. So if you wanted to check that out, I'll put more about that later.
Can you put links on the Seriously Sweet page? Anything let me just remind everybody, if you're watching tonight from the Cookie Snack Attack page, that's a private group. You won't be able to share. You'll just be able to send things to your friends in Messenger. But if you go over to the Amy Hicks page, or you go over to the Seriously Sweet on Davis Street page, everything is streaming there. You can share from there. You can comment there, and then everybody can share and keep all the links together. But I would love to know about that. And then could I ask you for a favor for our group?
Of course.
Sometime when you have time, would you come back and talk to us about ins and outs of Instagram?
Sure. I would love to.
because StreamYard can now stream to Instagram.
Ooh.
So I figured out how to do that, but I have not figured out how to successfully do it at the same time I'm streaming to the other 4 platforms.
Yeah.
But I would love to get our cookiers more exposure over on Instagram too. Okay. And for a lot of them, it's easier for me to control the technology because they just have to get on, have strong enough internet to get to me, and then everything is pushed to StreamYard, and they blow it all out there, so I don't have to house all of that.
Yeah.
And by the way, guys, my husband, you'll have to thank Doe Dude the next time you see him. He went to the storefront and took out my 30-foot cable that allows me to plug directly into the modem and my computer. So we shouldn't have any skipping or anything tonight. So far, it's been all super strength, and we're on the 10G network. Woohoo! You know, when you do technology, Sam, it's
it's a lot.
It's sometimes it works great and sometimes it hates you.
When all the COVID stuff was happening, I would do tutorials from home for the local community and broadcast them. And the technology, I'd be like, drop the stream, and 3 minutes later, we're back, we're still stirring our dough.
It's okay, just come back. And then it's just crazy. But I mean, sometimes it works so great, and other times it's just, you know, it definitely has taught me patience, and I have learned to be a lot more flexible, and I'm much better at rolling with things, as opposed to like the tsunami, right? Like just we'll just roll along there, row your boat. We're going to keep it moving. Debbie, I'll tell them you said so. All right. Well, Sam, if you, do you have any of your normal people that follow you that know where to find your stuff, that they could start dropping links, and I'll start putting them in the videos so that you'll get exposure as we go? Like, is there anybody on here?
Yeah, like I saw Sean
Rettenspire.
I love, but I've never tried. I'm sorry, I didn't try to pronounce your name because I don't know how to do it. But I'm like, it's Sean. I love Sean.
Hey, Sabra. Well, listen, any of the tech gurus that are over there in the comments, if you can find Sam's site, drop them in. Her Facebook, her Instagram, the Reddit, whatever you can find. Do you have a web page, Sam?
No, it just reroutes to my Facebook.
Okay, perfect. So find those, drop them in, and I'll make them a part of the main video, and we'll do it on the Seriously Sweet page. And that way there'll be hyperlinks when the video ends. And then we're going to let Sam get started. Okay.
Perfect.
All right, now let me see if this works. If I disappear, I'll come back. You just take over and start going, okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
But let me see if I can get this. And guys, my cookie snack attackers, I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for supporting the artists. And thank you for wanting to do these kinds of events, because I really like events where there's one thing each night so I can really concentrate. Otherwise, I feel overwhelmed. So, look, here we go.
Thanks, Mimi.
She put it on this page. Thank you, Mimi. So on Facebook, we've got you there. And then Lavelle just posted the same thing. Thank you, girls. If you can find her on Instagram and post that, that's super helpful.
Thank you.
Okay, now let me see if this works. I always get so nervous when we go. Ready?
Ready. All right. I think you're still there, are you?
Yes. Oh, okay. Sean found it too for you.
Y'all are so good. Okay, well, I'm going to talk for just a second about what this is so y'all can kind of know a little bit more about me. I am self-taught cookie artist. I've been doing this almost 12 years now. It's been quite a while. Everything that I've learned has been trial and error. So when I would mess something up, I would learn how to fix it. And it really taught me a lot about playing with royal icing. And in the last 5 years, I've really kind of fallen in love with 3-dimensional cookies. And that can be 2D with 3D elements or like a fully 3D cookie. So that's kind of my niche. I'm very into texture, very into 3D. So I wanted to show you guys just kind of a think outside the box cookie, because we're always thinking of what we can put on a platter, how we can put it out on a table, but not necessarily like that wow middle piece factor. So this is actually, might not be able to tell by the original promo picture, but this is a fully 3D centerpiece cookie that is essentially a pumpkin base.
It's so pretty.
Thanks.
It's so pretty. I think you need to make that for each one of your kids' teachers and fill it up with candy.
That would be really good.
And let those kids go home all sugared up.
Or a bunch of mini cookies that look like candy.
Yes, that's so cute.
So one thing we're going to go over is we're going to talk about how to create all this texture and dimension. I do sculpted icing. So if you did my sculpting icing elective at CookieCon, we're going to cover some of that too. But I'm going to talk about the construction of this more so you'll be able to understand how to make it work for you, because you may have a different plan. You may see this and think, oh, I know what I can put in it. I don't want to put cookies. I want a candy dish, or, you know, I want to actually make it bigger and have taller florals, or whatever you want to do. We're going to kind of discuss how to make that for yourself. But for this particular one, I was just going to kind of show y'all. All I did was take my regular cutters and extend the length so that I could stick them down in here. So I'm going to pull them out.
That is just beautiful.
Isn't it cool?
And you know what else I thought when I saw this earlier today, just for people that are looking for ideas for Thanksgiving and Halloween?
What's that?
I thought it would be so cool to make each of those stand-up cookies and personalize it with your guest names.
That
to
would
where,
be really
like for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And I thought it would be really pretty filled with leaves. And I thought that after I saw Sydney's demo that she just did with that ice malt leaf.
That would be beautiful.
Wouldn't
That would be really cool. So you guys can kind of see.
Sam, you're not going to brag on yourself, and I know you're trying to start, but could you tell me the things you won at CookieCon so that you could give them a little inspiration to do the sugar show?
Do you want me to show pictures?
Yeah. Do you have them?
I do have them. We'll see if we can pull them up on my phone where you can see. So I love, like I said, I'm a huge 3D cookie person. I love the sugar show. I love to compete. I was actually on Christmas Cookie Challenge, but I don't expect you to remember seeing me on there. I went home first. It was very fast.
I remember because I only had cable recently, so I watched all of them. I binged them. It was
really fun. It was a great experience, and I would 100% do it again in a heartbeat. But it definitely was a short-lived. So I don't know if any of y'all were at CookieCon.
Oh, yes.
Would remember the Diagon Alley piece, but that was one of the first ones that I was really well known for.
I love that piece.
And that one won first place for popular vote. It won the second place advanced category for the judges vote. I also had a rotating bakery that went through all the seasons. So the little baker was in the middle.
I remember that one.
He was baking like year round. And then as you rotated around her, all the seasons would change.
What one was that?
Do what?
Which one was that at?
That was the same one with the Diagon Alley, because this one won second and third.
Oh, wow. I remember you racked up.
That one, I won 4 at that one. The Trevi Fountain piece, I actually don't have a good picture of that one that I posted.
That was gorgeous.
That was one of my favorites because it was really outside the box for me. I don't do symmetrical work or super clean work. I try and like have a lot of just texture and fun and whimsy. So that one was really different. And this one is one that I won at the latest Orlando.
Yes, that one was so cute.
I had all the little candy shelves. Those are all isomalt dishes, and it was just really, really fun.
I love it.
So
I love the miniatures too. When I saw that one, I was like, oh.
And this one didn't win, but it's one of my very favorite pieces that I have ever done. It's Harry Potter casting his Patronus spell at the Dementors.
I saw that one.
Man, like let me tell. Fun fact: this right here, the constellation on top, that is actually the night sky in Britain in about 1995 when the book would have taken place. I was like, this is the exact night sky that Harry's going to see, and no one at CookieCon would ever know that. No one's going to look at that and know, but it was important to me, and I really liked doing all the little dots and just adding that extra detail to it.
Cool. That's so cool. Now I have to ask, because I just think, like, where do we put all these cookies? Did you keep the cookies, or did you just take really good photos?
So my Trevi Fountain I kept, and it got destroyed. My Diagon Alley collapsed after about 8 months at home. I do have my Harry Potter pieces sitting in my kitchen on top of my cabinets. My sweet shop is here boxed up, but then I have another one that a friend took home and resined and kept as a centerpiece. So
that's awesome.
That made me really that was really like an honor. I was like, oh my gosh, you like it so much, you want to keep it forever?
Yes, really cool. Yes. That's so fun. So I was fortunate enough to be sitting at the table the first time that Becky won at Cookie Con, and just the look on her face was amazing.
Yeah.
And then when Barbie won at Cookie Con, I was right there. She's a cookie snack attacker. And then this last time when Allison won, Allison totally did not believe me. But when I saw that cookie that she won with, I was like, that one could win.
Which one was hers?
She's on here. I don't remember what she named it, but it was that dragon.
Oh yeah, that one was
just
really
the techniques
cool
that she combined to make that piece. It was beautiful. And I was like, that could win. And she's like, oh, it's okay. I just want the raffle ticket. Then when she won, the look on her face, and I was like, oh, everybody needs to just keep entering. This is so much fun to see them when they win. Oh, Sean said she has a picture of the fountain, but she can't figure out how to put it. Sean, I don't think you can put it in until the live stream is over. Once it's over, you can drop it in there, but they're just yes. And this is true. When Barbie won, she stood up and I thought they were going to have to catch her because all of a sudden she looked wobbly and I was like, she's going down. And then when Allison stood up, she was like, he was making the short jokes.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't see her. And then when I went back and watched that episode of, they were following around the people at different cake shows. I think it was Bake It Till You Make It.
Yes, because my day was on that.
Yes. So when they were winning, I was like, oh my God, I can't see our ladies like jumping on other people when they're winning, but that was a lot of good energy going around.
It was a lot of fun. That really just was such a fun night. I was trying to scroll back in my non-social media photos and see if I could find that Trevi fountain, but it's far enough back. I can't even remember what time of the year it was. Was that spring?
I don't know because there were so many cookie cons back to back so quickly. Did you find it?
I've found the time frame. Here we go. It's almost finished. Oh, here we go.
Okay. Yes. That was so pretty.
That one was so hard.
How long did that piece take you?
Probably about 45 hours.
Wow.
It was a lot of layers. It was a lot of carving. There was a lot of planning, like the 3-dimensional elements and how to get those like recessed arches in there and keeping it symmetrical. Wow. Oh my gosh, the symmetry on it was about to do me in. I have my ruler out and people are like, you're so patient. I'm like, I'm really not. I'm over here with my ruler like, oh, stupid kind of.
So after you did that piece, relative to the kind of work that you normally do, do you feel like not again? It would have to be something super special and maybe sentimental to do it again, or would you rather stick with your normal style?
No, every time there's a sugar show, every single time we get categories, I always try to think of something I've never done before, in incorporating new techniques I haven't done or challenging an area where I'm weak. Okay. And it helps me grow as an artist. Like I'm very competitive by nature and not at the expense of anyone else. I want everyone to succeed.
Right.
But I also want to be the best version that I possibly can be.
Yes.
So every single time I will have some elaborate failures. I can't tell you how many sugar show pieces I've chucked in the trash because they were not up to my standards. But it helps me grow because I'm like, okay, well, this didn't work. So let's see what does. So I do think I could take that challenge on again, but it would have to be like something that really meant something to me. Like when I'm thinking of pieces, if I'm investing 45 hours, I'm not going to spend 45 hours in something I don't love. Right. Like,
absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Now I'll let you do your demo, but I just wanted you to inspire all of the people in the group, because sometimes they enter 2 or 3 times and they're like, oh, I'm never going to win. And the fact is, you never know who the judges are going to be year to year, and you never know when you're going to win. So you should always be trying.
Well, and even that, it's just there's a sense of community that when you're there, and it really does build your confidence. And it's a lot on how you take it on. Like I can walk around and look at other people's pieces and I can say, oh, mine's never going to win, or, oh, I made too many mistakes, it's not good enough. Or I can look at everybody's work and treat my work with the same respect that I treat theirs. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Right. Well, look what they did with that isomalt. Or I feel really proud of this part of my piece. Like I did a really good job here. And And if you go in with the positive mindset of looking at what other people have created and being a sense of community, it really, truly will help you grow as an artist more than anything.
Yeah. And I love standing there and trying to, I like the texture. I like the dimension. I like layered pieces. I like figuring out a new way to do something.
Right.
So I like to stand there and analyze the pieces. Like sometimes I get stuck at a piece too long.
Yeah.
Right. Because I'm like, okay, I'm trying to think like in stages, like how long did this take? What did they do? At which part? And so I just stand there and probably overanalyze it. But then I go home and I make notes and, you know, I just have a good time with it. And then try to figure out like, how can we use that to help them make money too?
Yeah.
Like I'm always looking at stuff like that. Like how can we make that faster for them?
Yes, that too. And that leads me to another point that we're going to discuss while we do this.
All right.
Because I could talk all day and never show y'all a single thing about a cookie. I love to talk. But we're going to do it because that's what y'all are here for.
I know. We're on it. But you guys join the Sugar Show. You have till Austin. I'm sure they're going to tell us categories soon. So there's lots of time to plan.
And choose something that means something to you. Don't try and do what everybody else is doing, or don't think, oh, you know what I bet would make me win. Like choose something that's important to you and then expand upon that, because that's going to make you fall in love with the process way more. I promise. Absolutely promise.
All right.
Okay. So now we're really going to get started.
Okay.
I'm going to tilt my camera down so you guys can see more of the cookie and less of my face.
Okay, and I'll read you questions if they come up because I don't think you can see your screen, right?
Not well. It's at an angle and I'm not going to be looking at it much. So, so one thing I want to point out before I actually start decorating is the inside of this. And I'm going to discuss how to build this properly in just a little bit, but I wanted you to kind of see how much room that I've got and how you can adjust that. We're going to talk about what size to make these side cookies, where to place the bottom cookie, how to make it all sit together. But I just kind of wanted you to know what the inside looks like before we get going, because we're going to come back to that. But it's going to walk us through our build. So can y'all see okay? Do I need to get the camera closer?
Oh, no, it's fine.
Okay.
It looks good.
So first we're going to talk about our icing. And I know, and y'all, if y'all were in my elective, you've heard me talk about this before. Everybody has their own recipe, and I'm not here to tell you not to use it, or that, oh, to do this technique, you have to use mine, or that's not what we're doing. But what I am going to tell you is how I make mine and what we expect it to behave like, so that you can reflect that in your own kitchen, because I'm in Tennessee, in case you can't tell by my accent. And we get a lot of humidity here, and there's other places in the country that don't have that experience, so their icing is going to behave different. So I use Jeannie's Dream meringue powder, but I've done this with Satin Ice, Judy's, Lorian's, Wilton's. So it's not specific to the meringue powder, but when I make my icing, the first thing I do is put my meringue powder in the bowl, and I add my warm, like bath temperature water, and I start to whisk. And usually your recipe will say till it's frothy. And when it's frothy, you'll start to see some bubbles on top. But I'm going to tell you, take it just a little bit past that if we're going to be doing some sculpted icing. Because what we're doing is building a lattice structure out of those egg white proteins, and it's going to make it hold its shape a little bit better. And then you just add your powdered sugar a little bit at a time. And we're looking for thicker than what you would be lettering with, but not so thick like floral icing. It's kind of somewhere in between the two. It's what I would just call a piping icing, but sometimes people's lettering is a little on the thin side, but it is very thick. I don't know if you can see when I squish, it's got some resistance to it. I'm going to massage it just in case any water separation happened in the last hour, but I think it's okay. So with a thick icing, we're going to cut this tip open pretty big, like pencil eraser sized, right? Normally we're cutting nice small holes, but we don't want to have a bunch of exploded bags. So I'm going to cut this open pretty large.
Did you tell us which Jennifer Mosier, of course you, silly. I'm wearing my ears, Jen. Oh, you'll see later. Did you tell them which orange you're using? What
color? Mm-hmm. This is the pumpkin from AmeriColor.
I love that.
It is my very favorite orange by far. And if you don't have this specific color, I mean, it comes out of the bag. It looks like this or out of the bottle. It's like this every single time. But you can recreate this by using a regular orange with some ivory in it, and it'll have this nice toned, muted, pumpkin-y color.
So beautiful.
Yeah, it's my favorite because it comes out every single time, exact color of a pumpkin.
And your cookie, did you paint that, or is that colored dough?
This is colored dough. I actually have it. My other piece was in just my regular dough, my vanilla sugar cookie. And this is vanilla sugar cookie as well. But I had a haunted house class this past week. So I made the dough black, and this is just left over from that.
That's fun.
It was really neat. I have that sample over there too. It's across the room. I'll grab that one for you later so you can see it.
Okay.
So the first thing that we want to talk about is how to create I'm going to turn this sideways so you can kind of see the texture on here, how it gets nice and rigidy. Okay, you'll see how it's almost like flooding in sections, but there's more to it than that. It's got some puffiness that you wouldn't normally see if you were flooding a cookie. So we're going to do some sculpting. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to start in the middle or whatever section you're working on. And we're just going to do our defining center point. Okay. This is going to be the center of this section of pumpkin. The next thing we're going to do is create some height right here in the middle. So we're going to take another line and we're going to pipe it right on top. So however tall puffy you want these sections to be, you can keep going. You can make it even taller and pipe another line right on top if you want it to be really high drama. All right, we're just going to build that middle section up almost like a 3D printer where you're doing layers on top of layers.
Love it. I like cookie drama. I don't like other drama.
Yes, exactly. The fancy drama, the fun drama. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to define your low point, so the edge of where your section's going to be. So in a pumpkin, I want my middle one to kind of curve out and around and be kind of oval shaped. And I see that this is falling over because I keep wiggling it. That's okay. We're going to fix that in a second. But we're going to get real nice and close, and we're going to smush our icing on and define those outer edges. The next thing we're going to do, can you kind of see the difference in height there?
Perfect.
In the middle?
Yep, it looks perfect.
There we go.
And is that a cutter that you print, or did you hand cut?
I hand cut this one. I do have a 3D printer, so I will adjust and print them when I'm ready for them. But you could do a smaller version. You could use a regular pumpkin cutter that you already have.
Okay.
But I wanted to do something a little bit larger because I wanted a centerpiece. So I'm going to actually straighten this back up now that I've wiggled it all around. There we go. That's what it's supposed to look like. And what we're going to do now is what I call the hot dog. And we're going to just pipe a really thick bead that kind of fills that area in between the two. Okay. I realize there's a gap, but we're going to work on that in a second. And we're going to do the same thing.
I'm on this side of the camera going, will we have a blooper reel? What's going to happen to that bag?
All right. So there we go. We have a nice, big, puffy, hot mess of hot doggy icing.
Love it.
And here's how we're going to make it actually look good, though. So I like to use a big, flat 1 inch to 1 1/4 inch wide paintbrush. And I have just a cup of regular water right here. And I have a paper towel to remove some extra water from the brush. So I like to get mine wet, scrape off that extra, and then just tap it gently so it's just nice and damp. And as long as it's nice and damp, it's not going to stick to your icing. And you can start sculpting and shaping this and see how it instantly starts to smooth out.
I had so much fun with this at CookieCon.
If it starts to stick, you can just get a little bit more water on it. And you can just kind of keep going and smoothing it out. And you can, like if you have, I'm going to show you this low spot kind of right here, where I've got a little bit of a hole. You can go back and cookie Botox that and add a little bit more icing in and really just kind of shape and play with it to smooth it all out. Now, the other thing is this does add a lot of icing on your cookie if you're going for the high drama effect. So you may want to roll your cookies a little thicker. If that's something that you want to do, something that's excessively puffy, you may even want to take it up to a 1/2 inch just so you have a nice balance between the two.
Okay. You guys check in over on the side. Tell us where you're watching from. Oh, and Buffy is asking, how long did you bake that large cookie? And then may I add to her question, did you do a construction dough or is this completely edible?
Everything that I do on any of my 3D pieces is always my regular sugar cookie recipe. I don't change it. Okay. And this cookie baked at 350 degrees in a convection oven for 12 minutes.
Wow.
So it really doesn't take too long. Now, I will be the first to tell you I have a really nice oven. I used to sell appliances. So back when I had my full-time job, I splurged and got myself a pretty good one. And I really like how it bakes that. Oh, another Tennessean. I saw that one pop up.
Yes, Kathy. Are you guys near each other, I wonder?
I don't know. I'm Murfreesboro, which is just south of Nashville.
Kathy, where are you at? Because we made a cookie connection last night, and Nicole Tibbs and Holly and Maxine were all able to get together in Dallas, Texas today.
That's very cool.
Isn't that fun? They posted pictures already.
So once you gotta get nice and smooth where you want it to be, you can take a skinnier, more sharp-edged flat. Oh my gosh, did y'all see that? I just dropped it right in there while I was talking. But look, this happens. This is real life. And we're just gonna smooth that little bump right back out that I just made. But you're gonna take this sharper edge and you can use it to kind of shape right around those edges.
Gotcha.
And just clean up anywhere on the cookie where you got a little bit extra, which of course we're working in sections. So that's not a big deal because we're going to fill all that in anyway. But that way you can kind of see the process.
So Kathy's in Decatur, but isn't Decatur West Tennessee?
I think so. It's not near here.
And you have Canada in the house. Nadine is here with us tonight.
Maybe we need a cookie meetup in Canada and we can just all go.
I think that would be awesome.
Because I would love to go to Canada.
Nadine is on Vancouver Island, which is gorgeous. It's West Coast and up.
That's really cool.
She's super sweet. Nice, super sweet, nice lady. And then we also have Charlotte here from Seattle area.
Man, all these places I want to go visit. So once you get this done, it's really nice and smooth. It doesn't look like rough icing anymore at all. But what you can do if you wanted to at this point, like when I'm doing tree trunks or things like that, I'll come in with my stiffer, smaller brush because it's more precise. And you can even come back in and just kind of add some ridges and just really create some fun textures with it. And as long as you keep that brush just barely damp, it's not going to stick. If it starts to stick at all, you just re-dampen it. But now you can see just that little bit of dip, just added that little bit of texture to it. So you've got some time too. I mean, we all know royal icing takes some time before it really crusts over. As long as you're using that damp brush and the stick icing, you can smooth, you can texture. You've probably got 4 or 5 minutes really to kind of play with this and make it where you want it to be.
Do you know Kelly? She's in South Carolina now, but she used to live in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. Kelly Clements. Have you ever met her?
I have not, but Mount Juliet's close. I do know plenty of people who decorate over there.
Yeah, she's in South Carolina now, taking care of her mom.
Oh, well, that's really nice.
Very nice lady.
So y'all can see that process one more time. I'm going to do a second section over here. Okay. And then I've got one that's halfway done already, and I'll show us how to kind of fill in the gaps. But just to kind of repeat the process in case anybody snuck in late. And I'm going to cut this bag open just a little because y'all see it was trying to explode and I was trying to hide it before it did.
I was waiting on the blooper reel. I keep that stuff. We're going to have a blooper reel eventually. Camille is asking, how does that not add too much water? Because is it because you started out with such a thick icing? It's that, and then the paper towel sucks a lot out. It's really, you're just using your brush like a sculpting tool, right?
Yes. Now I am going to show you, and I did this at CookieCon too. I'll show you what it looks like with too much water, just so you can kind of have an idea. It's going to make this look kind of crappy, but that's okay, because I'd rather you see what it looks like when that happens so you know. So when too much water's on here, and at this point, I didn't use my paper towel. I just wiped it off and let it sit on the cookie. And you can almost watch it happen in real time. It'll start to discolor and it'll start to streak, and it may not be showing up too much over the camera.
And it looks like it's sinking.
Yeah, like right here, right here. Can you kind of see that a little bit?
You can.
Now, if that happens, that doesn't mean that you're toast and you've just ruined your giant cookie. All that means is that you need to take your paper towel and you need to get your brush as dry as you can. And you want to absorb. See, it's not sticking because there's so much liquid on here. You want to use it to kind of absorb that extra icing. Now, this orange isn't going to show too much discoloration because it's such a light color. But if I did this on a black cookie, you would see gray streaks. You would see like some pitting, which can be fixed by adding another layer on top of it. But really, if you just let it dry, you can just paint over it and watercolor it and add your shading. So it's not a lost cause. No matter how crazy it gets, you can always come back in and paint on top, and it just adds to the effect even more. Let's see. Now that it's kind of sopped up a little bit. See, I mean, it just kind of went right back away. So
yeah, you can tell.
Yeah. So not too tricky. It's actually really fun to do this. And I tell people, if you've ever had acrylic nails and you've watched that little nail lady like shaping that powder, it's very much like that.
Wow.
That's what it feels like to me. So we're going to do this one more time so y'all can kind of see. I've cut my bag open a little wider now. So I've got a really thick bead in the center of my section. Then I'm going to do my hot dog, or I'm going to come down low, which at this point, low is the edge of the cookie. I'm going to get right beside that edge, and I'm going to hot dog it up.
I'm going to put that hot dog term in the cookie we have on our page.
She's so professional.
That's right. We're going to say it's the hot dog.
And then we're going to hot dog bun the other side.
Right. Watch this video. It's called the hot dog.
We can do the Mickey Mouse hot dog song with it. I don't have to listen to that anymore because my kids are not babies anymore. So this one I made extra tall because I cut the bag open so wide. Now let me show you what it looks like if it's too dry, because you'll see it. See how it grabs and drags? If you see that dragging, it means your brush definitely is not have any moisture left in it.
It's showing up really well. Your camera's doing a great job and your lighting is perfect.
Oh, I would hope so. I feel like I'm sitting under the sun. We have those smart bulbs, the Philips smart bulbs, and I can, it's connected to my home device, so I can tell it what color to do and how bright to do.
Oh, nice.
We can do rainbow parties. Ooh. We can do Halloween lighting, but I figure for cookies, y'all just need to be able to see. While I'm doing this, Sean, who was commenting earlier, I have to brag on her. She was one of my students in Hendersonville, which is local, and she went to CookieCon and she won in the sugar show.
Oh, I forgot to mention, Sean. She sure did. I wasn't sitting near her. I was just thinking about people I was sitting beside.
It made me really, really excited. She did such a good job. And I was like, oh my gosh, I taught her.
Did she win for 2 things?
I don't remember, Sean. I know you won for your Blue Angels with the ice malt, but I can't remember if you won for anything else.
Sean, did you win twice? And are there any other cookie snack attackers on live with us tonight that have won at CookieCon? If anybody else is on here, I'd love to give you a shout out. So just type it in the comments. Oh, she did. She won for the Blue Angels.
Yeah, that was so cool. I was so excited for you. That was such an awesome piece. So over here where it's coming off the side, I'm just going to use my brush and I'm just going to take it right off. Now, I know that there's people who are more type A than I.
Oh, and Jen won with her peacock. I forgot about that. That's right. Jen has a thing for peacocks. I love to see those. Her pieces with those are beautiful.
So like I was saying, I know there are some people who are more type A than I am and I'm trying to watch the camera and decorate backwards so I can see what y'all are looking at, who really, really, really like having clean edges and not seeing anything come down the side of the cookie. And that's fine. Like, I'm not judging you. I think it's great that you have that dedication. I'm just surprisingly lazy when it comes to decorating cookies, believe it or not. But if this were really bothering me, like having the edge, what I would do is take this brush and I would just kind of start bringing that all the way down and just wrapping the icing around.
So look, I'll tell you, I'm a recovering type A about that kind of stuff, because once I realized how much it really did bother me, I would just figure out ways to work it into my design.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's cool that there, you know, there's everybody has their own way. I tell people all the time, there is no wrong way to decorate a cookie. There's your way, but there's no wrong way. But I mean, you could even just pipe right along the side of it here, and you can, with the damp paintbrush, just blend it right into that edge.
My airbrush and I became best friends when I needed dark cookies but didn't need chocolate cookies.
Mm-hmm.
And we always talk about treating the sides of our cookie like part of our canvas.
Mm-hmm.
So that's always there, because it did really bother me. I try not to make anyone else OCD or ADHD or whatever in the group, but there are things like that when I'm working on a piece, I'm like, I can't stand that, cover that up. And then there's times I'm like, rough it up even more so it looks like we did it on purpose.
That's another way I hide things. I'm like, no, that's intentional. I purposely jabbed my brush into it 32 times to give it texture.
That's right. I took a zester to that on purpose.
Yep, I've done that many times.
I'm using AmeriColor pumpkin right now.
Isn't it pretty? It just really is like one of my very favorites.
Mimi said she'd totally paint the sides gold.
Oh, you could. That would be really fun.
Black.
So, well, then the only thing, if you do the sides, don't do what I just did and grab it and stick your hand into it. But you could just paint back over it and fix it again. But so now y'all kind of get the idea on how to space them out and how to do the sections. So I'm going to come back over and we're going to do one more time right here.
How long do you need to let those really large sections of icing dry before you come back and fill in?
Because it's so thick, as long as you are gentle in your feathering, like in between the two, you don't have to wait more than 10 minutes. Now, as far as how long it takes to fully set, it will definitely take a full 8 hours. Like, it is not something that, because it's so thick, it needs that dry time. And it also depends on how much definition you want in between it. If you do it when it's still in this state right here, like if I came back in 10 minutes and did this section, I can make it flow really smoothly. Here, I'll show you on this one, from one section to the next. Like they just, it all kind of blends like an actual pumpkin, like one piece. And of course, if you have a part that's dried longer, it's going to be more definitive unless you sit here and take the time to feather and kind of blend it in together. So we're going to do a little bit of feathering on this one, and then we're going to talk about how to build the structure that puts it all together. And the stem, we're going to talk about the stem. So I'm going to do another one right here.
And for anybody joining late, did you Franken cookie the pieces that you showed in the photography cookie? The pieces that go into your 3D piece? Did you Franken cookie like just using a rectangle and another cookie cutter?
Yes. So for anybody who came late, this was just one of the random greenery cutters that I had. I cut it out, and then like where I had my dough, and then I just took my knife and made a rectangle shape and pulled that up and attached it and baked it that way. So
cool. They're
just random. Like this was a double floral rose. And I did the same thing and just extended it down. And then I just put different flowers up here at the top.
Gotcha.
So then I'm going to smush this baby down.
Illinois has joined us too. Laura's here tonight. It's good to see you.
You have such fun people following you.
They are a blast. This whole group is just super nice people. There's a couple men in here too, but they kind of hide out.
I had a couple come to my class last weekend. He was the only guy there, and it was just a fun date day where they had a whole staycation all week. And I love watching men decorate cookies. Like I love watching women decorate cookies too, but their minds, a lot of them work so differently, and it's just really fun to see how they approach it and what they do. And
so Laura's doing the big wah ha 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 laugh and says she's not fun, but she really is. I used to have dads come with the kids when I was doing my in-person classes back before COVID with the little kids.
Right.
the dads would come as a way to connect with their daughters in the cookie classes, to spend time together on Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what, some of those dads could decorate. I could definitely tell who was who used their hands like for carpentry skills and things. Like they had a way to build. They were building cookies out of cookies that weren't supposed to be used for building. Like it was some pretty good stuff going on in there.
There was one time I did a family event, and it was brothers, dad, mom, sister, like everybody, grandparents were there. And I have 3 brothers, and they turned it into a competition, and they really tried their very best. Like I had to vote on who was the winner of who did the best job, and it was so much fun. All right, so what I wanted to show here is when you put it in next to another section, you can leave a really defined edge, or you can take that damp brush and you can, I'm doing this kind of backwards to try and show you guys, but you can very gently just kind of push and feather it up into the next one. So you can have as much separation or connection as you want. It's however you want to create it.
It looks so good though, because it looks like a realistic pumpkin texture.
Yeah. And I'm all about texture. Like I said, symmetry, clean designs. I can do them. I don't enjoy them as much. I would far rather do something like this than that. Oh, where did I put my pumpkin color? That's okay. I don't need it right now. So I wanted to do it. We could go ahead and fill that other one in, but I want to show you guys the stem. And then I want to talk about assembly, because that's going to be one of the things that gets people who aren't familiar with doing this as much.
And they haven't asked you yet, but it's on my mind. Can you airbrush this while it's wet? As long as it's set a little bit?
Yes. So that was, I was actually just sitting here thinking if my pumpkin color was over here, I would show you. One thing that I really like is you can airbrush it while it's wet, or you can hit it with some Everclear with a little bit of your color and kind of brush over the top. And what's going to happen is that liquid is going to naturally settle. It's going to run down those curves.
Okay.
When it does that, it creates a really natural shadow that you don't have to create. Like you don't have to come back in and do shading later or anything like that. If you just use a really diluted, and I choose the same color, the pumpkin gel color, and just brush it over, and it'll really deepen in those crevices. And it makes it really, really nice because you don't have to overthink the shading on it.
That's pretty.
And then for the stem, I have the same consistency. This is the espresso from Americolor, which is my truly favorite brown color ever.
Do you like it better than Totally Brown from Cookie Countess? Is it even darker, like quicker?
It is. And it's a really rich color. Now I started with I just had my whole batch with pumpkin because I was doing so many pumpkin things. So I added the espresso to this pumpkin color. And I didn't put a whole lot in it, but it will get even darker than this. And it's gorgeous. It's really, really rich. I love it.
I like that a lot. And I use that Totally Brown a lot, but I use the Totally Brown more for painting because it's got that green pigmentation in it.
Yes.
So when you hit it with the Everclear, it does something nice.
The taupe from Americolor is like that. It's got a really nice green undertone, kind of a sagey green base to it, where it's a gray green.
Oh, Mimi's saying yes too. The espresso is her favorite brown because it's such a rich color.
It is. And it doesn't take nearly as much as you would think. So when I'm doing my stem up here, I didn't do the whole hot dog technique, but I did it in rows so that you could still kind of have that woody texture. And then I'm going to take my smaller brush that's here, and I'm not even going to like try and drag it. I'm just going to push, kind of get some wood grain in there to make it look stalky, stemmy. And it really takes it, y'all. It's once you've done it a couple times, it's so fast. And it creates such a cool effect. It's so easy. The Harry Potter piece that I did, all my trees were sculpted just like that, where I would pipe it and then shape it up with the paintbrush. So, there we go.
Really pretty.
So now we're going to talk about assembly. And this is where you can kind of get creative. Now I'm going to show you, obviously you saw the one that I held earlier and how wide it was. I'm going to show you my other, and you may, if you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen this one already, but my alternative, if you want spooky, right?
I love that.
I'm obsessed with this. Like absolutely love it.
Sam, is that fully open or is that like 2 cookies layered?
It's fully open and it's got wafer paper on the back side of it. So you can make your jack-o'-lantern face, you bake it with it open, you carve out your face, and then you decorate it exactly the same way that we just did. And then you glue, I've just airbrushed wafer paper yellow and put it inside here.
Oh my God, I love that.
Hold on, you gotta watch. This is the best part.
Oh, look at that. You got, oh my, Sam, I love that. I love it.
I'm not done yet. Give me a second.
You're going to dim your house
what it
lights?
looks like when the lights get dim.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
I mean, tell me that would not be the most gorgeous centerpiece for a Halloween table.
Oh, yes, it is. Oh, I love it.
And have all your cookies and desserts and trays.
Will it have enough structure to it when you put it together to do it on both sides?
Oh, yeah, you could for sure. So what I did different on this one than I did my pumpkin one, because I figured this one is more of like a showstopper right in the middle. I made this background black right here. And that way it would reflect all my light for it. Because I didn't want to have a bunch of light leaking out, or I didn't want my light coming back this way and being cast away. I wanted all the glitter and the glam to light up this direction. So I made my background black and made the trough for it.
Everybody is loving it. Like, you've got a wow, the jack-o'-lantern's amazing. That's fabulous. Standing ovation. It looks amazing. Cool? Another wow.
I mean, I don't know if y'all are, okay, I'm going to raise this up for a second while I talk. I don't know if y'all are geeks like me. Like
we're all cookie geeks.
Like, you know, you're humble, right? Like, I'm humble. Like, I know what I can do, but I'm proud of it. But I'm not like, I'm so great. But when I'm at home and I get done with something like this, I'll turn up my lights and I'll walk through my kitchen like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Oh, I did such a good job. I'm so excited.
I do the happy dance when something's a really good score. I'm like,
right?
Yes, it worked. It worked. I just get so happy.
When you see it come to fruition, like, it's just amazing when everything falls into place and you're like, oh my gosh, I pulled it off. That's so incredible.
But I have to comment. It's not just that you made that glowy. Like, that's the best jack-o'-lantern mouth that I've ever seen in my life.
Thank you. It was very hard.
I bet it was, but I mean, so worth it. And the whole cookie is like structurally sound. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, structure is really, really important, especially if you're doing sugar cookies and you're not doing gingerbread. You really have to know how to have it supported and the weight to hold it, because it's so soft. And if you have your angles wrong, it'll collapse. Like, this is not overbaked. I mean, it's a few weeks old, so I'm not going to eat it, but I could have.
Wow. And we did miss a question just a little bit earlier. Rochelle, thank you for your patience that I didn't come back to this, but we were all enamored with this light. Did you mention if you added gel color or powdered color to the cookie dough? Did you say?
Oh, when I did the black dough, I just did gel color.
Just gel.
I have powdered color. I don't use it often because I haven't found a need for the way that I decorate.
Okay.
But you could use powdered and it would be fine. But I just used the AmeriColor Super Black to do the gel. And I used probably like a teaspoon for a double batch. I mean, it goes a really long way.
All right. And then I have a question. That wafer paper, did you just adhere it with royal icing?
Yeah.
Okay, and then how long will that last? And did you paper potion or glycerin condition it at all, or did you find the need?
All I did was I put my paper down and then I airbrushed it yellow. And when you airbrush and you haven't, potioned or anything like that, it'll like pop up where it's absorbing the moisture. It'll kind of curve.
Yes.
And then it'll kind of settle. And I just put it in between 2 sheets of parchment and let it dry.
Okay.
And then this is going on 3 weeks now, and it's just fine. And I just used the same black icing and just did a big square and did it all the way around the faces.
And did you shadow with purple or black? What's
purple?
On the edge?
There's a little bit of black down here, but I used purple. And I have to give a shout out to Bakersman Buffalo and to Lady Sugar Sparkles, Nick and Alicia. They are my painting gurus. I'm not a painter. I mean, I can, but it's not my forte. So when I was talking about the shading with them, they were really, really helpful on letting me know what natural colors would look right with the shading and everything.
Oh, so pretty.
Yeah, they were my lifesavers on getting the coloring right on it. But I still walk through the kitchen and turn the lights off at night, and I have it sitting on my table. I'm like, it's just, it's my centerpiece.
I love it. It is so pretty.
So I wanted to show y'all with this one and this one side by side.
You should use that for Halloween for a napkin holder.
Oh, that would be a great one. I actually really want to resin this one and keep it.
It's so pretty.
So discussing a little bit about the build here. So as you can see on this one, I took it all the way down to the bottom. And the reason I did is because I was trying to make sure I didn't have anything blocking the light behind where this mouth was cut out. So if I were going to do anything down in here, you see, it's kind of hard for me to fit my hand down in here. So if you're planning on putting it as a candy dish, or if you're planning it on, having anything else sticking up and out, you need to account for being able to, if you have a light, you need to make sure it's wide enough for your light to fit down in. If it's not wide enough, it's not going to work. And you need to see how low you want to take this. Now, on the flip side, this one is meant to be like a centerpiece. That it could be Thanksgiving, it could be Halloween, but it can be at your dining room table. It can be a dessert table. So it can be both sides. And you could even decorate your sides here if you wanted to. But if I have this all the way down at the floor, these cookies would have to be like super duper tall, right? And we're just talking extra dough at that point. I mean, that's a really big cookie anyway. I mean, that's like share with a friend or a spouse cookie. So if you make it even taller, I would hate for you to have a bunch of waste. So what I did when I created this one is I raised the floor up.
Yes.
It's about right here. Okay. So it's got almost like a false bottom.
Okay.
But you have to have 3 pieces joining your pumpkins together. You can do just the 2 crossbars, but if you just do these 2 and you don't do that bottom, what happens is it shifts like a parallelogram and it becomes very unstable. So I was going to show y'all with these pieces right here.
Oh, this is so fun.
This is my essential, very basic setup for how I create my shelves, my put together pieces. It's either going to be all the way down the sides, or this is going to be part way up in the middle. And you can make these as tall or as short as you need to. But it essentially is going to make a letter. It's either going to make a letter U like that, or it's going to make a letter H like that, depending on how you need to do it.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yes. And can I ask a question, please?
Yeah.
Do you own any power tools that you straighten these edges with, or is it all zesting if necessary?
I do have power tools, but I zest on everything, or I use scissors. Because I'm not using a construction gingerbread and I'm using my regular dough. And actually, I'm going to trim this one so you can see. You can just, if you pinch your cookie and control the side that's not being cut off, you can use scissors.
Oh my goodness. I've never seen anyone do that. That's awesome.
You can just cut it down.
That's amazing.
So if I'm using, like, if it's just a little wonky, then I'll use my zester, right? But if I need to take off a quarter, half inch, I'm not going to zest for 30 minutes. I'm just going to get my scissors and snip.
I gotcha.
Because I'm impatient. I want to do the fun part. I don't want to do this part. I like the pretty part.
If you didn't need such particular pieces, it'd be great to just have somebody else do the baking too, so we could just sit out and play.
Right, exactly. So I use the exact same icing to put like this thicker icing. I do not ever use flood for gluing things together.
Okay.
I only use thicker icing. Or if it's winter, I will use chocolate because it's convenient. But Tennessee does not get very cold. And our chocolate, I mean, it does when it's like winter, and I'll open the doors when I do chocolate work. But in the summer, if I tried to glue this together with chocolate, oh my gosh, I'd have to go through so much freeze spray. It gets so hot. So what I do is I take my centerpiece that's going to be my floor, and I'm going to put my thick icing down one edge.
Okay.
And then if it's going on the bottom, I'll just mush them together here. If it's going on the side, I'll mush it together in the middle. And I like to stand them upright like I'm building a card house because I'm not worried about this falling over. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
If it's like this, I have to have it propped up against something like a canned good or something like that. But if I can dry them this way, I can do both sides at the same time.
And I'll tell you, Jen has confessed on here, she absolutely loves the construction part of 3D cookies.
Yes.
She's the one that turned me on to my scroll saw.
Yeah, I love building them. I don't like I did a haunted house class this weekend. Like I said, I had to pre-assemble 16 bases. That's not fun.
Right.
But when I'm building something like this, that's just for me and I'm only doing one of them, I'm like, oh, this is a lot of fun.
And Miss Laura would like to know if we could see the face of the jack-o'-lantern again when you have time.
You can.
Look at how beautiful this is, you guys.
Of course.
I'm serious. That's the best jack-o'-lantern mouth I've ever seen.
I just was so in love with the whole thing when I got done. And my kids, just all of us, we're just enamored with it. We go spooky. Every year we try. We didn't get to do it this year because we're too busy, but we have a whole haunted woods in our backyard that we set up. I have a pond. I made a trail. We do smoke machines and projections and chainsaws and all the things. So this jack-o'-lantern mouth makes me very happy.
Now, Sam, do you feel like he's sturdy enough that you could drop him into a food safe shrink bag and maybe not shrink it, heat it to him, but you could come up to the top and fill it with the cookies and then put a bow and have it look like a gift basket would look? Is that strong enough?
I would say yes. As long as it was just gathered around it. I'm sitting here I'm flexing on it a little. I mean, I don't want to break it, but if I did, I could just redo it. But yeah, I'd say so. I think the biggest thing that you would want to do is just make sure that it was loose and just very gently, no force pulling. Yeah. And then you carry it. You just want to make sure you carry from the bottom. Do
you think it would need just a piece of cake board underneath it?
That would help. Yeah, that would definitely help if you had one that was cut wider or a round one that was bigger than the actual board. Yes. And then you could just put one little dollop to help center it. And I think that would be perfect.
That is just, you guys, that's gorgeous. If you do anything with this, you have to tag her and show your pictures on social media.
Yes, because I would love to see it.
Lauren said she wants to come see that.
Hey, actually she gets eggs from me sometimes. I have a dozen if you need it, and I can bring this with me and we can just ooh and ah together.
Well, if you guys have a cookie meetup tomorrow, you have to post in Cookie Snack Attack. I feel like we're bringing people together.
One cookie person at a time. Oh my goodness. So once you get your centerpiece built, it looks like a tiny bed. Like I said, a tiny H or a tiny U.
So cute.
And at that point, you just have to decide how high up on your pumpkin you want to place it, right?
Okay.
So when I'm ready to do that, I wait until this is fully dry, both sides. I lay it flat, and then I glue one side down, right? And then when I place my second cookie on top, I'll take a cake board, put it like this, and then I'll set my second cookie on. That way I make sure that it's level here and here.
Oh, gotcha.
Because if you don't do that cake board trick, I mean, you could use your hand. I'm not that particular. But if you accidentally have this too high, when you raise your centerpiece, it's actually going to be leaning backwards and kind of wonky. And it's not going to make a good seal in these edges right here. And it's more liable to fall apart. So you want to make sure that when you put this piece in the center, you definitely want to make sure that you're lining up your bases here to give it the best, most stable chance of surviving.
It's beautiful.
And then once you have it, I mean, you could make this, I mean, you really could do 4 pumpkins and cut 2 sides straight. You could have a perfectly big square pumpkin opening. You could put anything in it. Like you said, you can candy, cookie, napkins, whatever. But I thought that this was a really good option for.
Oh, I really like that. And I think with that structure being the way it is, I feel like you could fill that with M&Ms and cookies, right? So you could have a combination.
Yeah, you could definitely
taffy in it if you're in Florida. They're taffy all year long there. Sam, that is absolutely stunning.
Thank you.
It's stunning. Now you have to turn your camera up so we can see if they have questions.
Yes. I just knocked that all over.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It looks great. Now, Mimi says she's speechless. That's fabulous. Charlotte is saying that's fabulous.
Thank you.
Sean's going to come visit you.
Sean's going to come visit me.
Yeah, but that's beautiful. It's really beautiful. Now, guys, you have about a 10-second delay. So if you have any questions on the coloring, the gels she used, bake time, structure, anything you feel like we didn't cover, I feel like we did cover it all though, but I feel like now if you need anything now, hit it. Just tell us what you need to know so we can help you make money.
And thank you for all the comments, you guys. I'm so glad you guys love it. Like genuinely, like this is what fills my cup. Like it just makes me so happy to share this art form with other people and hopefully inspire people to do something similar.
Yes, I'm telling you, my brain's popping with your jack-o'-lantern one right now.
Well, I saved that one because I was like, I want to surprise her with it.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. And Mimi would like to know which brand oven that you ended up with that you like so much.
I have a Bosch, and it is a 900 series Bosch convection. It's a freestanding range, and it's just fabulous. When I had it, I was in my old house, and when we moved, I literally put it in storage and put a cheap one in just so I could bring my oven with me.
Absolutely, because they'll want what they see, right?
And it's got a dehydrate mode built into it, so I don't even need a separate dehydrator.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, Cindy, well, we're glad you joined us. And replays are staying up, guys. The whole event's free, so you just check it out. Rochelle, I think I got your question answered earlier, right? I think we came back to you. And just thank you, guys. Thank you for being so supportive, Cookie Snack Attackers, because we want Sam to come back.
I will be back. I will definitely be back. I'm like, oh, what else can I do? I have a new outlet.
Well, I want to, let's do Instagram soon. Okay. Let's play with that because I think that would help some of our younger Cookie Snack Attackers, maybe. If we spend a little more time with them on Instagram, they seem to be over there more than they are in the Facebook.
It's so hard to balance. Like I'm telling you, because there's different, each platform reaches a different circle. And it's an integral part of your business. So you have to know. And I'll admit, I don't always do great at it. Sometimes I'm just like, AWOL, check out. Peace, y'all. I'm done.
And sometimes you just have to focus on one area and do it well, and then do what you can with the others because it's just a lot.
Do you want to see the haunted house that I made this week?
The other piece. I don't want to keep you too much longer because we've done an hour and 15 minutes now. Everyone is still saying thank you though. They genuinely love this. Genuinely. She's not in Florida. She's in Tennessee.
I'm just south of Nashville. I'm Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Beautiful. Nancy, you're super welcome. You guys are all very welcome. I hope that this teaches you techniques that you can use for Thanksgiving and Christmas. That's the goal.
Hey, if y'all have seen this and you want to do it and you watch the replay and you have a question, please just message me on either Facebook or Instagram. I'm not one of those people who's going to be like, that's $5, please, before I dish out. No, I want you to be able to do it. And that's the reason I was here. So
they want the house. They definitely want the house.
Let me see, make sure it didn't get dropped. It's right across the room. One sec.
I think the confusion was me because I said in Florida they use taffy all the time because I lived in Florida for a while and I was on the West Coast about halfway down, but Sam is in Tennessee. And I was talking about that Maxine from Florida was actually in Dallas and got to meet up with Nicole, and Maxine got to meet up with Holly and Nicole today. Oh, look at her box. Sean,
I think it got dropped. I think my kid dropped it, but I haven't looked at it and peeked it out. So we're going to see just how toasty this thing might be.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So to be fair, just letting you know, this was my sample. And when I teach, I purposely destroy things so that people can see how to come back from those mistakes. So it's not like the cleanest work ever, but I did the same thing where you could put this light over the house and it would glow from the inside.
So beautiful.
And it had like all the little windows and all the little ghosties. And y'all look at the little ghosts in the chimney. Like,
I love it.
Oh my gosh. And it had some bats on it, but I think those got broken off. But we did the same thing where we did the wafer paper windows right there. And then we just put the light on the inside so that it would also just kind of glow and twinkle. But
that was fabulous.
But it was a really fun class. Like it was up in Nashville, and I had 16 people. So I did 16 pre-assembled haunted houses and walked them through all of it. And it was really, really cool.
Wow. Well, that's awesome. Well, I think that they are all good on questions. Do you have any questions for the cookie snack attackers or anything else you want to tell them? You have to turn their camera up just a little. And Sean wants to know how she missed that class.
I don't know. I posted it all over Instagram. I've got another one. I'm probably going to do a similar one for Christmas, Sean. Actually, I do have one question that I would be curious if the people, do you remember the add-on classes that I taught? Do the mushroom and the cauldron class that I did?
In Orlando or Ohio? Ohio, okay. Yes.
I have considered doing these as online classes, but I didn't know if it was something that would have enough of an appeal. So this is a fully 3D, like carved shaped cookie. It's 360 degrees, fully dimensional. Like it was super, super fun. We did gelatin bubbles. Yes, you did. Wasn't it such a good class? Mm-hmm. And then I also have done, or this one right here.
Sean said yes, she would do that online.
Okay. So this is all, it's a glow in the dark mushroom that it's like a little lamp that glows.
So cute.
And all of that is 100% sugar cookie. It's not construction gingerbread or anything like that. So cute. So if there's interest in it, I'm really hoping to, in the new year, once we get through the holidays, I want to start offering some online classes that go over more of these sculpting and shaping techniques, because I feel like that's so outside the box.
Yes.
And people can still utilize that in a 2-dimensional set.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But you guys, at least 4 of them are saying yes, they would love that. At least 4.
Yay, there's interest in it. That's good.
You figure out how many you have to have in there, and you can probably sell it out online in the Cookie Snack Attack group.
That would be amazing.
That would be one night. All right, let me tell them one thing real quick, and then we're going to end the video. So guys, I decided, since I didn't have anything to physically mail you or give away this time, because I just got busy and forgot about grabbing like raffle prizes. So I have my yearly group, and last year it was gnome and floral, and it was 12 months long, and we did a different class, a different gnome or a different theme on a gnome every single month. This year upcoming, you guys voted and chose a category of celebrations. So we are putting the class on sale. It's normally the whole year would sell at $150. For the length of the event, we're putting it back on sale where you can jump in and get on board with that for $110. So it's a $40 savings. I also wanted to tell you guys, I am really giving a full hilt attempt to try to use cutters you already have, or to teach you on cutters that it doesn't matter what size you use, so that you don't have to purchase STL files or a lot of 3D printed cutters this year for that celebrations group, because it's going to be more, if you have a heart, you have a heart, right? We don't have to have the exact heart that I have. So that group, it was supposed to keep increasing in price each week by $10 until we got to the beginning of the year, but I put it back on sale today for $110. It's on the website at SeriouslySweetCupcakes.com. I know a lot of you were upset you missed the first week when it was on special. So that was what I'm putting up as my thing for you during the event, and I'm going to keep it that way through October 31st. Okay. All right. And yes, it was awesome, Teresa. Awesome. And you're very welcome, Mimi. All right, well, guys, everybody, hit that love button really quick. If you're on your phones or your iPads, hit the loves and the likes and send a bunch of those up. It'll help the algorithm so that Sam's video will get replayed more. So just hit that really, 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 really quick. I'm stalling now, so they'll do it because it'll help the numbers. And Sam, if you'll stay with me for just a second, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. And then, guys, don't forget tomorrow. All the same location, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Jen Mosier's going to be with us, and we're going to be painting. And Jen, are you still here? Are we doing cocoa butter painting, or are you doing gel? Just in case anybody, like some overachiever, grabs that cookie and does the segments on it tonight and is trying to paint with you tomorrow, tell me. And Sam, you're getting follows over on Facebook.
Thank you. And by the way, I took Jennifer's class, her elective, in I think it was Ohio, and I really enjoyed. We did the cocoa butter for this one.
Yep, this one's doing regular.
Cocoa butter was very cool, but she did a great job just explaining technique and stuff across the medium. She knows what she's talking about. So
well, tune in tomorrow night because that's her background.
Yeah, she's really good.
The perfect person to bring that particular skill set to us. So I hope you're going to come back tomorrow night. All right, I'm going to end the stream and talk with Sam for just a second, and then I'll see all of you guys tomorrow. Jen, are you laughing, Jen? You're laughing. All right, and I love my ears, Jen. These are perfect. All right, catch you guys later. Thank you.
Thank you.
Share the video even when the video's over. It still helps, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.